The top shifting problems have to do with limit screw settings, indexing, B-screw adjustments. You know, the basics. The basics. Which, by the way, if you need to reboot your basics, visit the repair help section of parktool.com. But here, we're going to focus on the next level. We put together a list of the top 5 other problems that can impact shifting. Number 1 is your cable system. The cable system is the housing and the inner cable together. Dirt and grit can work their way inside. This creates friction along the system, which will slow the shifting both directions. On most bikes, you can get a closer look at the cable by putting the bike in the lowest gear. Then, without pedaling, shift the derailleur to slacken the cable. Remove the housing from the stops. Feel the cable and feel how the housing slides. You can also wipe the cable and throw on some lube. Put the housing back and see if it helps. But if the bike has full housing without stops, that doesn't work. You will need to loosen the pinch bolt to get a feel for how the cable is operating. If it feels gummy, install a new cable and housing. Also inspect outside the housing, especially at the ends. Damage anywhere along the system isn't helping our shifting. Replacement of the housing and the cable is the best option. Our number 2 next level cause for bad shifting is a bent derailleur hanger. The rear derailleur is attached to the frame with a hanger. This piece can get bent from crashing and bashing. The pulleys are not going to align with the sprockets if the hanger is bent. Check and repair it with the hanger tool like the DAG 2.2. There's a previous Tech Talks episode on this called Derailleur Hanger Alignment. It walks through the whole alignment process. Number 3, incompatible equipment. As bike components get replaced, there can be incompatibility issues. This bike was in a crash, and the rear shifter was smashed. It's a 10-speed, so we installed the 10-speed shifter, so all should be fine. In testing it out, we get the smaller gears no problem. But moving to the larger cogs, the chain is now striking the inward cog and making a racket. Can't we just use the barrel adjuster to index this gear so it's quiet? Yes, it worked on these gears, but now going back, the racket seems to have moved out here. Turns out the issue is not indexing settings at all. This aftermarket microshift shifter was not designed to work with the SRAM rear derailleur. Another incompatibility issue could be having the wrong type of chain. Chains not only vary in width for 9, 10, 11, and 12 speed, there are differences in side plate shapes. The solution here, other than trial and error, is to stick within your brand and drivetrain model. Number 4, a worn or dry chain. Chains take a lot of abuse, and they don't last forever. The internal parts of the chain, the rollers and rivets, begin to wear down and give the illusion of stretching. This wear can cause the chain to mesh poorly with the cogs and chain rings, causing poor shifting and premature cog wear. Inspect your chain to see if it falls within the limits of tolerable wear. See the repair help section of parktool.com for chain checking video guides. Check also for adequate lubrication. A dry chain will feel sluggish when shifting and will make excessive noise when pedaling. This chain looks dry and feels dry. There is no lube that comes off when touched. Add a drop of lube to every rivet and then wipe off the excess. Number 5, a worn out derailleur. All derailleurs wear out at some point. Check this by pulling laterally on the lower cage. Compare this movement with the new derailleur. Sloppy pivots and parallelograms will produce inconsistent shifting, and the only solution is a new derailleur. So those are the top 5 other problems to check when your shifting just doesn't seem to be working right. Always begin with the basics and do your due diligence of correctly setting the limit screws and the indexing adjustments. Again, there are detailed guides at parktool.com. Thanks for watching this week's Tech Talks.